Welcome to day 9 and the final day of the CFL free agency special. I'm your host, Emmanuel Pointiger, and today we are ending off with the defending Grey Cup champions, Toronto Argonauts. And look, they had about the same offseason that they had last year, losing a lot of names, but they just find a way to be at the top of the Eastern Conference or division. Jeez. Top of the East Division or the CFL and make it back to a Grey Cup or very close to one. So we're going to go over their free agency, talk about it, talk about the re-signings, the additions, and the losses for the final team. Let's start with the re-signings. We got quarterback Nick Arbuckle, the Grey Cup MVP, which still sounds a bit weird. He may be starting the season. It depends how Chad Kelly's rehab goes with his injury because it was not a great injury. It depends how that goes. If he'll be ready for week 1. If he's not, it will probably be Nick Arbuckle, and they can definitely win some games with him if he performs like he did in the Grey Cup. Quarterback Cameron Dukes, probably the third string quarterback. Running back Kadeem Carey, who's back on the team. There were questions if he was going to be back with the Argos, but after every single team running back position was already determined, or who the starting running back was going to be, then Kadeem Carey, there was no other choice. He was going to return to the Argos and had a really good season last year, stayed healthy, and got over 1,000 yards for the season. Wide receiver DeMonte Coxey is back. Linebacker Wynton McManus, probably the biggest name in free agency. He returns to the Argos, a game changer on that defense. And he's one of those guys that when you put him on a roster, there immediately it feels like a Grey Cup defense. Like he can get you the best defense in the league and possibly to a Grey Cup. So very, very, very important to get him back in Toronto. Defensive back Tavares McFadden is back on the squad. And finally, returner Janarian Grant, probably the best returner in the game right now. He has been fantastic. He just keeps on getting better, and he is back with the Toronto Argonauts. Now let's get to their additions. We start with running back Kevin Brown. He got released by Edmonton, signed with the Argos. This was early in the offseason. I thought maybe Kevin Brown is going to be the starting running back for the Argos, but maybe it was kind of like a smaller contract and they had enough money to bring back Kadeem Carey. I think that was probably worse comes to worse. We have Kevin Brown on the squad, but with the addition of Kadeem Carey, I think that will be a really nice running back room in Toronto. Defensive linemen Celestin Haba and Anthony Lanier, so kind of rebuilding that defensive line. And then linebackers Cameron Judge, who they acquired via trade with Calgary for Folarin Orimolade. So next to Wynton McManus, Cameron Judge, that is going to be a scary linebacker unit. And then you add Ryder Varga, also via trade with BC. So a nice linebacking core right there. And then finally, you got the losses, and we got a lot of them. So let's go through them. Wide receiver Makai Polk, he got released and pursued NFL opportunities, and he signed in the NFL, so good luck to him. Wide receiver Tommy Neal, who signed with Saskatchewan. Offensive lineman Deshaun Allen, who was a part of the Ryder Varga trade with BC. Defensive lineman for Lauren Orimolade, also a trade with Calgary. Defensive lineman Jake Serezna, who signed back with Edmonton. Jared Brinkman, who also signed with Edmonton, and then Roby Smith, also going to the Elks. So basically transfer those three guys and put them on the Elks. That's what happened. And Toronto had to rebuild their defensive line quickly after that because those three names you lose, it's going to be tough. So we'll see what their defensive line looks like next season. Defensive lineman Sean Oakman, I forgot where he signed again. Let me just check. He signed with the Montreal Alouettes in free agency. That's for the defensive line. A lot of guys leaving So it'll be interesting on how they rebuild that and fill that out. Linebacker Fraser Sopik, who signed with Calgary, and then 4 defensive backs: Royce Metchie, Deshaun Amos, Tunde Adeleke, and Robert Priester. So a lot of pieces on that defense leave the Toronto Argonauts to, go to different opportunities, maybe got more money, offered more money, and leave the team. But Toronto, they just always find a way to get production out of that defense. And we'll see how they kind of rebuild that and go into next season with a very new defense at that. But that will do it for this edition of the free agency special, the final day. The Toronto Argonauts. Argos fans, let me know what you think of this offseason down below. A lot of losses, but I think you got to feel confident that this Argos, management in Michael Clemens and Ryan Dinwiddie, you can definitely trust that they know what they're doing because they've won Grey Cups, 2 out of the last 3 years. So they could just you just trust it. You go along with it. You say, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna complain. Just go along with it. We've gotten to Grey Cups, so let's hope we can make it a dynasty. I think that's it's been a very quiet conversation, but they could be a dynasty if they win it next season. But Winnipeg had opportunities and they couldn't get it done. So let's see if Toronto can complete the dynasty in 2025. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you on the next episode of the Red Zone podcast. Peace.